And so there's another announcement which I think is interesting and I think is really important. I'm starting to believe. I mean, I don't think it's a surprise here. I'm an Amazon fan. I think that they've been um, sort of taking the right approach to a lot of things, cloud first, AI, more recently, um, for a while. And
Mhm.
while they are often viewed as an AI laggard, they just announced a 5-year deal with Databricks, specifically about, I think, trying to create this sort of competitive profile where it is AI's Trainium chips. Hate that name. They're Trainium AI. Their claim to fame on these is they are purpose built for AI. They're not general purpose GPUs. Um, and because of that, they claim that they therefore can hit the same level of performance at a much lower cost. So they claim to be 40% cheaper. Combined with Databricks, which of course made a lot of noise earlier in the year with their approach that they claimed that for, I think it was $10 million, you can train a completely custom LLM. And so you start putting these two together, and the basic pitch here is that you can solve that problem you're talking about at a fraction of the price. And now suddenly, for an enterprise, start figuring out how you can actually apply this in a meaningful, custom way. And I think it's interesting. I think it's probably the right directional approach.
Yes, and this article written by Bell Lin, another one of our
Of course.
favorites at Wall Street Journal, the CIO Journal, it also pointed out how Databricks purchased Mosaic ML last year to support these custom models, and that has been an important piece of the puzzle because Databricks wants companies to build their own custom models that are smaller in nature and may not require an entire fleet of GPUs to support. That's actually the right way to do it. You do not want to be dependent on having to spend millions and millions of dollars of compute just to put your model into production. So this combination of having the right way to create models quickly, as well as dedicated compute that is not fully dependent on NVIDIA, is probably a good move to be able to package things together. And I would expect that this becomes a more common package to be able to see. Of course, NVIDIA has already dug into microservices and a development environment and is ahead of the pack in that regard. But everybody is going to want their own packaging of models and hardware that is actually more controllable and perhaps more affordable than the kind of supply chain issues that have been making NVIDIA difficult to work with, not due to NVIDIA's capabilities, but simply due to their production capabilities.
Yeah, and look at I think obviously Nvidia has been the golden child, and I don't expect that to change anytime soon. But when you're in that position, you are pretty reticent to come to back off that, right? And so it leaves them vulnerable for this sort of a play of being able to come in with a pretty substantial cost savings. Um, and and I think and again, it's not like this is some little company nobody's heard of. This is Amazon, right? So I think it is very, very interesting to see the way this is starting to line up. And I'm starting to see Amazon plays it a little bit like Apple has historically played it, not first, but better. And I
Mhm.
see that that's kind of the angle they're taking. And I love the fact they're zeroing in, especially with this partnership, on these specific challenges. And again, if I'm a CIO, frankly, much more applicable because this is something I can actually potentially do something with in a real meaningful way versus just working off the big LLMs and sort of hitching my wagon to, well, I hope they get it right, and I hope that I don't get lost in the shuffle. So I think it was very, very interesting. But it's every week we're getting something different, so it's really tough to tell.